In the New Virginia economy, there is a high demand for employees with science backgrounds, and many of these positions are with some of the Commonwealth's research universities. Mark Hughes is now a fellow at the Phillips Institute at Virginia Commonwealth University, who works for Assistant Professor Anthony Faber on research of pathways of chemotherapy resistance in cancer cells. But in 2013, Mark suffered a stroke due to a blood clot in the brain, which resulted in temporary mobility loss in his leg and permanent loss of mobility in his left arm.
When I first had the stroke, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. I spent 6 months in a wheelchair while they taught me how to walk all over again.
After rehabilitation, Mark was referred to DARS by his occupational therapist. William Sutton, a workforce development specialist at DARS, got in contact with VCU after Mark was referred to him by a rehabilitation counselor from a local field office. William worked with Mark toward an on-the-job training agreement that allowed Mark to work in the lab and show his knowledge and skill sets to the employer.
Mark was a professional that had come from a STEM field. The employer had a little bit of concern and reservation about Mark's ability to be able to work in a lab in a sterile environment without any type of intervention. So I started talking to the employer about our on-the-job training agreements, which is an awesome opportunity for employers to become more aware of the services that DARS offers.
DARS got me a 3-month kind of temporary appointment. So I worked here for about 6 months, and then back in January, Tony was happy enough till he gave me a full-time position.
Mark then met with John Allen, an occupational therapist and assistive technology specialist, and Tom Ryback, a rehab engineer, to discuss what assistive technology he would need to perform his tasks at work, such as working with chemicals, test tubes, and flasks on a daily basis that require him to wear protective gloves.
They were like, well, what do you think you might need? And I knew from the get-go that I was going to need help getting on those rubber gloves because they're difficult enough to get on sometimes when you get 2 good hands, but you cannot get one of those things on one-handed. You know, one of those things is just a clamps to hold a tube steady. You know, that I can clamp it in there and I can unscrew the cap or whatever with my one good hand. So. And then the other thing was just a little, like a tube holder that would, hold the tube steady so I can label it without holding it with my other hand. So
Mark is now back reintegrated into society. He's doing what he loves. We love doing what we do, and it's a team effort. I mean, none of this would have been possible had VCU not given him the opportunity. They took a chance. In this instance, that chance paid off.
DARS thanks Anthony Faber and Virginia Commonwealth University for working with rehabilitation counselors, workforce development specialists, an assistive technology specialist, a rehab engineer, and Mark on his path to being reintegrated into the workforce and his field.